Again, a lot of people left, but we will work with what we have. So let's move to the next slide. So here we still have the sentences. Who would like to start? Do I have any volunteers before I'm forced to pick names? Any volunteers for the first sentence? Well, the second in this case.
I could try.
Okay, Camila, perfect.
Okay. I said that I is the prehead.
Uh-huh. Perfect.
Haven't been the head.
Until been.
Haven't, yes, until been I choose that head.
Okay. I'm gonna try to
Here
write.
I said this was the nucleus, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's talk about this for a little bit. So, which one do you think is the last content word here? Camila?
Before.
Yes, right?
Yes.
Yes. I would say then that here should be the nucleus, right? Before. Now, where in before do you think it is stressed? Where in before? So let's think that now that this whole sentence, well, not these three words are the head. Now, if we use before as the nucleus, where is the stress syllable in the nucleus, and what after that would be the tail? Any ideas, Camila?
I would
Or
say B.
okay, so B would be the nucleus, right? Yes, correct. And everything after that would be the tail, right? So the tail. Okay, this one was a little bit tricky, perhaps. Maybe, who knows? But well done, Camila. Great. Um, any volunteers for the third one? Anyone?
Yeah, I'm going to do it because I'm not very sure, but yes.
Yes, great. I love it. Go on, Margaret.
Okay, they, the prehead,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
said it's two.
Yes.
I wrote it like the head and late as the nucleus.
Yes, that's perfect. Perfect. Great. Well done. Thank you, Margaret. I'm gonna write a P and then the nucleus or the tonic syllable. Great. Thank you. Next one. Next one. Should I pick? I think not all of you will have to participate, but a lot of you, because you are, well, we are 10, 8 of you. So maybe Carla Muñoz. Carla?
Okay, I'm not sure, but
Great.
okay.
We can check, so don't worry.
I have Ken as the pre-head.
Okay. Ken as the pre-head.
We have Blue as the head.
Okay.
Cheese as the tonic syllable, and the two as the tail.
Yes. So it was half correct, but I think you spotted perfectly the tonic syllable. So that's like the maybe sometimes the most difficult part. So that was great. The tail is also good. Now, where do you think is the first stressed syllable before the nucleus? In we? Or which one is we, a function or a content word? Let's guide ourselves with that. What do you think? Is it content, function?
Content? I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I have this as an answer. maybe you could disagree, maybe, but I have that blue would be the head, and everything before that would be the pre-head, but I could be wrong because that happens. So you know that I'm not a robot, so that could happen. Does anyone else have the same answer as Carla, or any different answer?
I didn't hear very well what Carla said, but we have the pre-head too.
Okay, so yes, I mean, I would say that's the answer, but maybe we can make mistakes. But I would say that the first stressed syllable or content word there in this sentence would be blue. That's why as the answer, I put that this was the head. Now the rest of the sentence was perfect because the tonic syllable is indeed cheese, and then the tail is indeed too. So well done, Carla. Thank you. And thank you, Margaret. Pablo, are you there? Pablo Núñez. Okay. Viviana. Viviana, are you there? Yes.
Yes,
Would you mind doing the next one?
yes.
Thank you.
It will be the prehead. Done.
Okay.
The head, one, the nucleus, and two, the tail.
Okay. So I agree with you with the nucleus and the tail, but I had something slightly different. I wrote that I don't was the pre-head. Because what do you think? Where is the first stress syllable? In do or in want?
I think that I don't. I mean that two words together.
Mm-hmm. You think those that is the pre-head, right? I don't.
No, the head. The head.
Okay. Okay.
I was confused. I mean, because you say that the pronouns are function words, so we usually are the prehead. So I
So
put
then,
I
okay.
like
So the adverbs, the adjectives, the nouns, and the verbs are content words.
yes.
Adjectives, adverbs, nouns, and verbs. I would say that I don't would be the pre-head, then want would be the tonic syllable, as you said, and two would be the tail. But again, this could be this could be my mistake. Who knows? Does anyone have the same answer as any of us, or do you have something different, or what do you think? Let's compare our answers.
I had I as the pre-head and don't as the head, want the nucleus, and to the tail. But I'm
Okay.
not sure about don't.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure either. I would say that it is the pre-head. I don't. But anyone else that would like to give their opinion, or maybe if Professor Bruno has a more clear answer, he could guide us here. But I would say that it is the pre-head. What do you think?
For
Maybe I'm mistaken.
the I don't want to.
Yes.
I would say that the last content word, and usually the one that receives the emphasis, would be want, the verb in this case, the last content
Mm-hmm.
word, right? And two would be considered the tail, and the auxiliary in general, since it's a function word, just like the pronouns, personal pronouns are also considered function words. They usually are not stressed. Again, it depends on the context and the speaker, but in general, I
Right.
would say I don't could be considered the pre-head, as none of them are stressed, right? I want to. Probably the focus word here, the one carrying the tonic syllable, is the one syllable word want. The one syllable
Right.
verb. Yep. Yep.
Yes, I actually agree. Thank you, Professor. So I agree. But again, it all depends on the speaker. So maybe I pronounce it wrong. That could have happened as well. Maybe I kind of stressed don't. Maybe I said I don't want to. Who knows? I don't really remember if I read it incorrectly. But I would say that you should guide yourself with when you only have the sentences and you cannot hear the speaker, or maybe if you didn't really understand the speaker, I would recommend you just to guide yourselves with the content and function words, because that would make it easier. Now, thank you, all of you, all of you. And the last one, can Joanna, maybe? Would you mind reading your answer for the last one? Joanna, are you there? Okay, let's do the last one together because there are not many students in the class. So, in this one, which one would you say was the tonic syllable? Any ideas?
Yesterday.
Okay, in yesterday, which syllable? Because how many syllables does yesterday have?
Sorry.
How many syllables? 3? Yes, and where? In the first one, in the second syllable, in which one?
In the
First one?
Yes, correct. I wrote the same. So yes, there is a stress. Which one would be the tail here?
Third day.
Yes, right. Third day. I mean everything remaining, right? Now after the tonic syllable. Now with she called me, where would you place the head?
Call me?
Yes, correct. Because called is the first content word. It is a verb, so that's correct. And then all we have left is she, which is a function word, which would end up being the pre-head. So I think you did great. Try to remember which ones are content words and which ones are function words in order for us, for you to solve this easily or easier. So an overall great task. Let's continue. These were the answers, but you did great, so we already checked them. And now we will move into tone. So after we have decided, or after we know the tonicity, we can find the type of tone that the sentence will have. Now, tone is the major pitch movement within the tone unit, and in other words, the overall behavior of pitch is tone. So we already mentioned that there are 3 main types of tone, which are fall, rise, and fall, rise. We will review them, and we will, as I mentioned before, make a distinction between fall, rise, and rise, fall. So you can see when we use each of them. And let's start with the falling intonation. So when do we use falling intonation? When we have statements, when we have commands, when we have WH questions, requesting for information, and then when we have question tags that are statements requesting confirmation rather than questions. And then lastly, when we have exclamations. So maybe you can take a screenshot of this if it's easier, but I can share the PowerPoint with you. So as I don't really remember who asked me, if it was Karen or who was, but these are the kind of tricks that we can use in order to try to guess the type of intonation that a sentence has, or a part of a speech has, because it's easier if you already know that, okay, falling intonation will be commonly associated with the statements, commands, WH questions, and everything. So try to, if you're fast enough to write them, perfect. If not, you can take a screenshot, or maybe you can wait a little bit more and I can send you the presentation. So let's move into falling intonation examples. Now, here we have a lot of examples, and I will ask you to read them because maybe you are tired of listening to me. So can Margaret, would you mind reading the first two examples? You already have the arrow there, so it might be easier for you to identify where to lower your pitch, but can you do it?
Yes, the first one
Perfect.
only, or
The first two.
okay.
Great.
Nice to meet you. Leave it on the desk.
Right. So you can clearly hear the falling intonation. Thank you, Margaret. Now the next two, Carla, would you mind reading them?
Okay.
Thank you.
Show me your homework. Where do you
Right.
study?
Perfect. Thank you. So can you when you read it, can you notice the falling intonations? Because I think it's easier when you practice and you read it rather than listening to someone pronouncing the words. So the next example would be he thinks he's so clever, doesn't he? Doesn't he? So going down in he. Then we have it doesn't seem to bother him much, does it? Going down. And the last two examples, Joanna, would you mind reading them? No, you're not there. Yes, are you there? Would you mind reading
Yes,
them?
but I don't know what is wrong with my computer because I can see what you are sharing. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you cannot see it?
No, I don't know what is
Oh,
wrong
that's
with my
fine. Don't
computer.
worry, don't worry. No worries. Try to listen. Camila Otarola, would you mind reading the last two examples?
Yes.
Thank you.
How nice of you. And what a beautiful voice.
Right. Perfect. So those are examples of falling intonation, right? Now let's move into the rise fall intonation. Yes, rise fall intonation. So we use rise fall intonation for choices, lists, unfinished thoughts, and conditional sentences. So for choices, here we have two examples. So are you having soup or salad? So I know it's easier because we have the arrows, but you already know that this happens with choices, lists, unfinished thoughts, and conditional sentences. The next example would be, is John leaving on Thursday or Friday? So again, I think it's quite clear, the rising and the falling of the intonation. Now, again, someone that would like to read the example in lists, the two examples. Anyone that would like to practice the intonation?
Yes.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you.
We've got apples, pears, bananas, and oranges.
Right. And the next one?
Oh yes. The sweater comes in blue, white, pink, and black.
Exactly. Well, there should be a comma after white. Oh, that's long, but yet it should be a comma there. So very well done. Thank you, Margaret. Then we have in unfinished thoughts. So thoughts that we, of course, haven't finished. Who would like to read this? So I don't have to force anyone. Because, yes, Camila. Great, thank you.
Do you like my new jacket? Well, the color is nice, but I don't like it.
Right. So but I don't thank you, Camila. The I don't like it. Commonly, you wouldn't say it. It's between parentheses because it's like a thought. But
Yes, but we're
yes,
practice speaking.
no, of course, no. I mean, I'm not correcting you. I'm telling that in general. in unfinished thoughts, it's like we don't say the last part because it it we're trying to not to offend the other person maybe. So, do you like my new jacket? Well, the color is nice, and then the person is thinking, but I don't like it. So, I wasn't correcting you. I was just mentioning that commonly we just keep that last part of the sentence to ourselves because we don't really want to offend the other person. So great, thank you. And then lastly we have conditional sentences, and here we have if he calls, ask him to leave a message, and then unless he insists, I'm not going to go. So conditional sentences. If you know conditional sentences. So again, if you would like to remember this and you were not able to write it, take a screenshot, or I can send you the PowerPoint after. Oh, and Professor Bruno sent the screenshot. Sorry for falling intonation. So thank you, Professor. Now we're moving on now with fall rise intonation. And we usually use for rise intonation for hesitation or reluctance. So when we are not really sure about something. And then for politeness, doubt, or again, not being sure about something, uncertainty. So here we have more examples. Would any of you like to read them? Any, if Margaret wants to speak again, that's fine. Or if Camila, you're more than welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
So would you be willing to confirm that? Well, I suppose so.
Right.
You
And the
didn't
next one.
see him you didn't see him on Monday? I don't quite remember.
Right. So in this case, in the two examples, the person is not really. Hesitation means not being completely sure about something. So would you be willing to confirm that? Well, I suppose so. It's like going down and then going up. And lastly, we have politeness, doubt, and uncertainty. Fanny, would you mind reading this? Are you there?
Yes,
Thank you.
perhaps we could visit it. Should we cop? Oh, sorry. Should we should we copy the list? Do you think it is allowed?
Great, thank you, Fanny. So in this case, again, it is again uncertainty or maybe politeness, like not being rude. So that means that is what politeness means in general, not being rude, being polite to another person. So now these examples are more difficult to read because you can see the arrows in between the words, like in between the letters of one word. So it's sometimes more difficult, but you did great. So very well done. Now let's move into rising intonation. So we have seen this before, nothing new, but we use this mainly in two scenarios. So in yes or no questions, and then in question tags that show uncertainty and require an answer. So for yes or no questions, we would say, do you like your new dress? Are you going shopping? Sorry, my voice kind of cracked, but are you going shopping? Can I borrow your jacket? Do you have any ice cream? Do you sell clothes? So can you notice that it goes the pitch or the intonation goes up? Do you notice that? And
Yes.
thank you, thank you, Margaret. And then we have the question tags that show uncertainty and require an answer. So we're friends, aren't we? You admit, don't you? You were invited, weren't you? This is your shirt, isn't it? So all those cases use rising intonation. Now, let's do a short practice of tone. This is really short, not really gonna take you long, but try to identify the types of intonation that the following sentences have. So I will read them and let's try to do it together because we are against the time. So the first one would be, who's there? Who's there? Who's there? What do you think?
Rice intonation?
Okay, okay. Which type of question is this one?
W question.
Okay, and when do we use WH questions? Do you remember?
It is falling intonation.
Yes, correct. Fanny. Fanny, was it you? Yes, I think it was you. Correct. Yes, well, this again, as everything we have seen, will depend on the way that the speaker pronounce the words, but you can guide yourselves with the kind of scenarios that we gave you in order for you to understand where the different types of intonation would happen. Now, the next one would be the food was tasty, wasn't it? What type of intonation do you think it has? Do you need to listen to it again? Or you can identify it on your own?
Racing.
Yes, correct. So I'm gonna just draw the arrows. The first one was falling. Okay, well done. And the next one. Do you think it's legal? Do you think it's legal? No, again, let me do it again. Do you think it's legal? Do you think it's
Falling.
legal? Okay, okay, could be. So
Racing.
okay, let me try to pronounce it again because I think I didn't pronounce it correctly. So maybe I confused you. So it would be, do you think it's legal? Do you think it's legal? Do you think it's legal? What do you think? Fall, rise, falling, rise, fall.
Rice.
Rise. You think
Rising.
it's rise? Okay. Any different answers? Everyone has the same? Yes? Okay. Let's. So, where did your brother go? Where did your brother go? Where did your brother go? Sounds different, but it still has the same type of intonation. Any ideas?
Fall.
Yes, correct. So falling intonation. And the last one. Do you have this dress in black? Do you have this dress in black? What do you
Falling.
think? Do you have this dress in black?
Rice.
Rise, correct. Yes, that was rising. Now, let's check them. So, next slide. So we should have the arrows here, but I just wrote the word. So can someone read the first example? Can someone read the first example? Anyone, any of you. Doesn't matter if you haven't spoken the whole class. Thank you. Go on.
Who is there?
Okay. Try to use the fall intonation of right before there, in there, where I just draw a line. Try to do
Who
it
is
with
there?
right. So that's correct. So it's fall, and WH questions requesting information are always fall. We know that already. Next one. Anyone that would like to read it to practice?
I can do it.
Okay, Camila and Carla, the next one. Okay,
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Camila, go.
the food was tasty, wasn't it?
Perfect. Perfect. So question tags that show uncertainty are always rise. We saw that already. Perfect. Now, Carla, would you mind doing the next one?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Do you think it's legal?
Right. So it is a false rise type of intonation because doubts or uncertainty in this case show a full rise intonation. Great, thank you. And the next one. Any volunteers?
I can do it.
Perfect, Viviana, thank you.
Where did your brother go?
Right, because this is a perfect because it is a WH question, and as the is in, sorry as in the first example, WH questions requesting for information are always full. And the last one, the last one, the last one. Any volunteers? Doesn't matter if you already read any of the other ones. Anyone that would like to read, so I don't have to read everything for you.
Yes, I can read
Go.
it.
Okay, perfect, Margaret.
Do you have this dress in black?
Right, it is with a rise type of intonation. And why? Because yes or no questions show a rise intonation, a rise type of intonation. So you did great. That was very well done, despite me pronouncing maybe something wrong that could have tricked you. Now we will go into tonality practice. So again, as the first activity that we did, we will listen to another speech. Now this one might be a little more complicated, perhaps. So we can listen to it several. I mean, not maybe not 5, but maybe 3 times if necessary. It's not really long. It lasts 2 minutes, but it is Emma Watson speaking. So sometimes it can be a little difficult to identify where the tonality happens. So again, tonality, you will have to chunk the speech. First, we will watch the video, and here we go. Let me change this. Yes.
Miss, we can hear the video.
Oh, look how she stopped. I'm gonna start sharing again because I think I didn't share with the sound. So thank you for telling me. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna. Yes, of course it wasn't with the audio. And let me try to. Okay.
The more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was confused being called bossy because I wanted to direct the plays that we would put on for our parents. But the boys were not. When at 14, I started to be sexualized by certain elements of the media. When at 15, my girlfriends started dropping out of their beloved sports teams because they didn't want to appear muscly. When at 18, my male friends were unable to express their feelings. I decided that I was a feminist, and this seemed uncomplicated to me. But my recent research has shown me that feminism has become an unpopular word. Women are choosing not to identify as feminist. Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one? I am from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body. I think it is right that women be involved on my behalf in the policies and the decisions that will affect my life. The more I've
Okay. So I know this will look crazy because it has it looks huge. Let me change this. Okay. So I know this will look maybe scary because it looks like a lot, but I know you can do it. We will do it together. So here we have the speech. Now I will play it again, and if you are still not ready, we can play it again. But let's start.
The more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was confused being called bossy because I wanted to direct the plays that we would put on for our parents. But the boys were not. When at 14, I started to be sexualized by certain elements of the media. When at 15, my girlfriends started dropping out of their beloved sports teams because they didn't want to appear muscly. When at 18, my male friends were unable to express their feelings. I decided that I was a feminist, and this seemed uncomplicated to me. But my recent research has shown me that feminism has become an unpopular word. Women are choosing not to identify as feminist. Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one? I am from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body. I think it is right that women be involved on my behalf in the policies and the decisions that will affect my life.
Okay. What do you think? Do you need it to listen to it again? Yes? No? Was it difficult?
Maybe, I don't know.
But you think we should listen to it again, or you think we should check them together?
Maybe we could check them together.
Okay, perfect. Yes, that would be great. So let's.
The more I've spoken.
Sorry, let me go back. Yes, so there are lots of stops that I could find. Now it's not really easy because I think her speech is sounds like really fast, maybe. But let's try together. So, would you mind, Margaret, start telling me what you have, what your answers are?
Yes.
Okay.
After feminism,
Yes, that's correct.
then realize.
Yes, have the same. After that,
I think that's it. Synonymous. That's some. Yeah.
okay. So after synonymous. Yes. Can you continue?
Yes. Then thing. After thing.
After thing.
Thing.
Yes,
Yes.
I have the same
Then
there.
after certain.
Uh-huh. Yes, here I have the same.
Then
After that,
stop.
okay.
After
Stop. What else?
after ago. A long time ago.
Yes.
Then 8.
Yes, yes.
Then bossy.
Right, yes. After bossy or before bossy? Or
After
both?
both.
Okay, after bossy, yes. And after that?
After parents.
Where parents? Place of parents. Okay. Thank you. Let's ask someone else. Any volunteers? Maybe Camila? Do you have the answers? Should we listen to it again? Camila, what do you think? Do you have the answers?
After 14,
Okay. Yes, I have the same. Wait. Yes. Where else?
after media,
Right. What else?
after 15, I guess. I
Yes.
heard it.
Yes, I have the same. What else?
Mm, after, oh, give me a second. Different. Sport teams, after
Okay. Yes. And can you finish the paragraph?
um,
What else do you have?
after 18,
Okay. And anything else?
um, the after feelings, because there
Feelings.
is a period.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you, Camila. Now, for the next paragraph, Fanny, would you mind helping me?
Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
let me go to my. Uh, I decided
Okay. Give me a second because I think I
after.
lost the pen. Yes. So, okay. After I decided.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Yes. I have the same.
Then after feminist,
Correct. Oops. There. Yes. What else?
and after to me,
That is actually it was kind of easier to spot because I didn't remove the capital letters, so you can guide yourself. But great. The next one.
the
What else?
next one, after unpopular word,
Right. Yes. What else?
and after as feminist,
As feminists. After feminists.
yes,
Yes. Correct. What else?
and after the end of the question,
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
and
And oh, okay, you yes. If I would appreciate if you continue, so I don't have to pick another person, but I didn't want to force you. So if you want to continue, you're more than welcome.
okay,
Yes.
I have after counterpart
Yes.
and
Correct.
after my own body, and that's all I have.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I have all of the ones that you gave me, and I have some other answers as well. So I'm gonna put the ones that I wrote, and we're gonna listen to it one more time before we finish. So here it is what I had. You'll see that you gave me pretty much all of the answers correctly, but let's listen.
The more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was confused at being called bossy because I wanted to direct the plays that we would put on for our parents. But the boys were not. When at 14, I started to be sexualized by certain elements of the media. When at 15, my girlfriends started dropping out of their beloved sports teams because they didn't want to appear muscly. When at 18, my male friends were unable to express their feelings. I decided that I was a feminist, and this seemed uncomplicated to me. But my recent research has shown me that feminism has become an unpopular word. Women are choosing not to identify as feminist. Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one? I am from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body. I think it is right that women be involved on my behalf in the policies and the decisions that will affect my life.
Could you notice the ones that I wrote are maybe slightly different? I think in after I guess it was after sexualized, there was no stop, and I guess that was my mistake. But overall, I think we had pretty similar answers, so that's I think a good sign. Now we had a tonicity and tone practice, but we don't really have time left. So let's finish the class. I would say yes, because it's already 6:54. The time really flew, really fast. So do you have any questions before we finish? Any questions regarding tone or tonicity or tonality, or any questions in general? Doesn't really have to be related to the contents. No, yes. Fanny, you're raising your hand. Yes.
Yes. I clarify my doubt about the nucleus. So now I know that the content words are like the nucleus, but now I'm confused with the part of the head because sometimes I think it is more than one word. In the head, we could include function words and content words, or
Yes, there
just
can be both, because let's go back. Oh, here we have an example. So let's use this example. In let me put the pointer. So in this case, let's use the first chunk. So in Finnish, we can find the tonic syllable, which would be the first syllable. Then after that, it would be the tail, right? Now, a stressed syllable in the remaining part, in the previous part, before the nucleus or the tonic syllable. It would be first, right? Then student is also a content word, but to is not a content word. It is a function word. But it is included because it happens after the first stressed syllable. So everything after the first stressed syllable, doesn't matter if it is a content word, a function word, would be part of the head. Now, let me try to explain this even clearer. If there is no, let's imagine that we don't have the first two words. Let's imagine we have only to finish. That would be your complete sentence. As we don't have any stressed syllables before to, and to is not stressed because it is a function word, we can say that to would become the pre-head in this case. But as we have the first two words that are stressed, they just include the function word at the end, and everything becomes the head. Do you think that's clear, Fanny? Or still not clear?
Okay, and the prehead would be just function words, right?
So function words, yes. Everything before the head, or everything that is not stressed before the nucleus. Now, everything. Let me try to see how to explain this clearer, because I know where your confusion is. So we already know that in the head we can find words inside the head. That can happen, but it cannot happen that in the prehead. You cannot find a stressed syllable in the prehead, because that would become the head instantly. Is it clear? I think it is. What do you think? So let's put it this way. The prehead, I know it's confusing, but the prehead would be everything that is unstressed. And what is commonly unstressed? Function words. So when you find a function word that, or when you read words that are not stressed and they happen to be function words, you can say that this is the prehead. But try to do it in order. Try to find first the nucleus, because then you will already find the tail, and then you can move backwards and try to find the first stressed syllable, and then everything after the first stressed syllable that will most likely be a content word. The first stressed syllable would be the head. Everything after that would be the head, except of course except for the tonic syllable and the tail. And everything previous of that, before that, sorry, would be the prehead. Everything that is not a stress. Is it clear? Am I making it more confusing for you, Fanny? What do you think?
Yes, I understand.
Yes? Great, perfect, great question.
And another last
Yes.
question. For example, when we have in a question, in a yes, in an interrogative way,
Mm-hmm.
in that case, is there any possibility that, as we were saying, that the nucleus could be just content words? For example, there said can, the word can. We usually use it at the beginning of a question.
Yes.
So, in any case, could it be the nucleus like the first word, or always goes like at the end?
Okay, so most commonly you will find the nucleus at the end as the last content word, but I think this, and I can be corrected by Professor Bruno if he wants, but I think that it will always depend on the way that the speaker is speaking, right? Because what if this person is stressing more the word can in this case? That I think that could happen, but most commonly I would say you will find the nucleus as the last content word. But I hope that solves your answer, because I cannot tell you like, no, it will always be, because it's not like that. Everything about the three T's will depend on the way that the speaker is speaking. So I hope that solves your answer, Fanny. And yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Perfect. And do you have any other questions? I think it's important that you ask everything that you have in mind, because after you most likely will be assessed on this, and you need to be clear. So in order for you to get good grades and understand, which is more important than everything. So any questions, not necessarily about this topic? Nope. Yes, no. What do you think? Answers?
I believe that with this practice, everything is more clear.
Great. I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy. So I can share this with you if I don't know if you have my email, but I can email to you the presentation and maybe you can share with the rest of the class. But anyways, you know that these classes are recorded, so you can always rewatch them to study. That's a good benefit of a online school. So yes, I would say this is the end of the class. Thank you for participating. Thank you for staying because I know it's difficult. Some of your classmates have the tendency to leave and not to practice, and we need to practice a lot. So thank you for staying. And that would be it for today. I hope you have a lovely rest of the afternoon. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank
Miss.
you. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye
Miss.
bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
You
Thank you. Bye,
too. Thank
Miss.
you.